Yes. It's that time again, that week again. We are Costa, Ash, Tavi, and we just saying. Disclaimer before we begin. Ashley could give us our disclaimer, please.
Uh, we are not psychologists. We are not
Yes.
your mama or your daddy. Please get advice from professionals. We just saying.
We just saying, man. We're just saying. So
Yeah.
today's topic is about failure. Failure. How would we define failure and dealing with it, right, Kosa?
Yeah. Why? I've noticed something. Why is it that you always say no, Costa? And then
Would you
I'm the
protect-
one, I'm
Why
the
is
one
that?
who has to start saying something.
Oh, you're the
No,
instigator.
you know why? You know why? Because you're the instigator.
Yeah,
I
it doesn't-
need the world to know that you're not a good person.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's say today I failed.
Okay. No, but you know what? I was thinking about this subject
Yeah.
a while ago. GT. You know, failure is kind of relative, depending on the standards you set for yourself. Because if we were to set societal standards on some of these things that we do and partake in, it would mean that everybody is a failure at some point. I see the pressure that we put ourselves, our kids, and the people around us. We obviously you have to hold people to a higher standard because that's the way we develop. I see panema unrealistic expectations. And then they judge you by their own matrix of failure. And it but no. What I set out to do was A, B, C, D, and I did A, B, C, D. But the moment I go E, F, G offer.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it just depends on but your own standard of failure. I was trying to do this, it didn't work. But it now depends on you. You're the one who defines it whether it's a failure or not. In my own way.
I think the best way to teach is giving examples.
Yeah. Pane mama my examples, guy.
Yeah.
Let's give our own
That's a
personal
good point.
examples
That's a good point, Costa.
of times where you failed. Tavi, start.
Take it away.
Yes.
we have voted.
All right. Thanks for throwing me under the bus. All right. I'm going to be a nice person today. I'm going to be the... what's the antagonist and the protagonist, right? It's two different type of people. Anyway. Where I think I failed. When I did my O-levels, and I honestly thought I'd done well. But my dad expected me to get... Because I did 9 subjects, I think. So I need to get 9 A's.
Okay.
But I didn't. I got a bunch of A's, bunch of B's, and I think 2 C's.
Okay.
So I then went into like a slump, like almost a slight depression. I didn't know that's what it was called then, because I felt like I've failed. But other people had done U's, man.
So back then, or maybe, I guess we'll get into it, where there's something where Ash said there's different standards. There's your standards, where you fail according to your standards. And then there's a time when you fail according to other people's standards. But those two standards might not necessarily like match.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree with you there, Kos.
Yeah. So like I said before, in terms of the aspect of failure, normally depends on your age. When you're younger, it's all about passing. You have to pass grade 7. You have to pass grade 4. You have to pass your A levels. When you're older now, somehow those things, the measurement of success is a bit more blurry. Because I'll give you an example.
Okay.
I'll give you an example.
Yeah, please. We need examples.
For if there's times when I'll give you my own personal example. And I think pane time and I got fail. In fact, I'm still dealing with it right now. There's my father's company that he started when we were still younger, and he really loved that company. It was doing furniture fittings and renovations. He expected me to take it over before he died. It was a clear expectation to say, this is our family business. You need to do it. You need to take it over. You need to carry on the mantle. Family, but as the firstborn in the family, I had no passion for it. So I maintain a business here. It closed down within, I think, after about a year or two after he died. It just fizzled out completely. So I consider that a failure, because I should have somehow gotten deep down in my own gut and said, right, let's just make it work some way somehow. But I just did not even. To be honest, I didn't put as much passion I would put, let's say, in my design, let's say in my writing and so forth. So in my mind, I know this in my mind, that my mother is probably thinking, but
you know what? When your example just brings
you've
out
never
something.
told me the story, bro.
No, I've never told you, because it's one of those things that cut me deep, Anna. It cuts me really deep, because I know around me people were looking at this thing is gonna continue,
grow bigger.
grow bigger, because the youngsters now here. No, I didn't. It died.
I think what you're saying brings up a very interesting thing, in that, like, when I was also trying to think, okay, where I failed. Sometimes when I look back, and when you look at it objectively, it's like you didn't know any better. Like now, you've gone through life, and sometimes it takes that, having to go through things and failing, and also acknowledging the failure. Because for me, I think when I look back, the times where I think I failed it's mostly based on relationships that I didn't treat well, and lost.
Okay.
Because I was immature, and I was immature, one, and two, didn't have experience.
So basically what you're saying is that in your past life you were a dick in relationship.
Pretty much.
Yes.
No, but Chavi, you know what? Like I was telling
this brings a different dynamic, man.
Yeah, man. Relationships.
Sorry,
whoa. Yeah. No, but when it comes to relationship, there's not even. But people tend to think that relationship is only between male and female, and those are the kind of relationships. No. It also involves other people where you wakabata munhu rafu.
Yeah.
Wazofunga papa shit. You know what? I shouldn't have treated that person.
I should have treated that person better.
Yeah, I shouldn't have gone 0 to 100 that quickly. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to that, relationships, I got a lot of those. People tend to classify me as a person who writes people off like very quickly.
Yes.
And it's a bad
You're
thing.
Yeah,
it's a bad thing for me, and I regret some of those relationships where you don't give a person like a second chance or a second what do you call it? Chance to say, I messed up. once you mess up around me, like this I'm out, that kind of thing. But it shouldn't be that way. Now that I'm older, I need to have a more forgiving heart, and where the other what's that expression? If the shoe was on the other foot, what would you have done? As in, would you have wanted someone to give you a break? And those I've failed a lot.
Or shoved the shoe up somebody's ass.
I think also the lesson for me is when it comes to failure, the most important thing is to admit that you failed. Because
are you saying to yourself or to the person you failed or whatever?
You're the most important person to
I think to yourself. The most important person is yourself.
First.
Because I'm I'm
100% clear.
When I was talking about the other company thing, also context was needed. I was a young man, and people had great expectations of me taking over this company and making it bigger and better and greater. And the weirdest thing is that my mother, we've never spoken about it, not once, to talk about. And she's the one who was looking at, she never put any pressure on me as much, but I put the pressure on myself, say
maybe she says she failed. Do you know what I'm saying? Because
maybe she feels she's failed.
Yeah, because maybe that's what she feels good. Okay, she probably could have done better. Because when I think about it now, about your situation, I feel like you're not entirely to blame, because I don't know, unless you were groomed and weren't listening, then that's a whole different thing.
That's the thing. It was I think he tried his best, but I think it was I was in that stage in my life where I was trying to, when you're rebelling for the sake of rebelling, because you're like, no, I need to create my own space in this life.
But you're a teenager.
Early 20s, early 20s, 21, 22.
20s, that's close to teenage.
Yeah, so it became, it was now in my, that's what I felt like. Because at that time now, I was in that zone, you know what, and dudes was, I need to just carve my own space, and you can't tell me, tell me what to do, because this is my life. Wow. But then I just thought to myself, he tried to leave a legacy. Right.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I fucked it up. If I'm to be honest, I didn't continue. I could have just continued with it, even though it's the passion, but not let it die.
But you didn't have the information you have now.
Yeah. Now that I know better, I'm actually contemplating reigniting it, because I'm older now, and now I understand business and how you can grow slowly.
How many
and
siblings
surely.
do you have? Have you ever discussed it with you?
No, we've never discussed it. I've got 2 brothers and a sister. Okay. And
did they know about the business of the 2?
Nah, they were too young to really comprehend. Okay. The one that follows me, Nyasha, my younger brother, he probably remembers parts of it, but he didn't really know the ins and outs that I used to go with him and do this thing, because it was literally my Bali's side hustle.
Oh,
so from graft, then you do this, and then we do this. He was trying to eventually get out of the rat race and do what he needed to do, but we're doing this together, and he was showing me the ropes, and you do this, you do that, do that. But it was at the time I wasn't interested. And I realize now that I'm probably gonna get the same attitude from my daughter.
This is none of my business.
This is none of my business. I don't want to be doing this and all that. But like I said, it's a failure on my part that
can we avoid failure?
No, it's part of learning. Every billionaire tells you that. They tell you that if you haven't failed a lot, you haven't done jack, because that's where you learn all the tricks in the trade.
So why are we so afraid of failing?
Judgment, Baba. Because business. You know what I'm saying? And you that it brings me back to the point I was trying to make. Standards are Nima standards. If you the standards that you set for yourself and say, right, this is my level of failure or non-failure or success. If you let everybody else set your standards, you're buggered because it changes every day.
But then if we
but what if your standards are they're not good for you?
That's what I was about to say. Bringing it back to that situation, you had your standards where you're saying, no, I want to live my life and whatnot.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
In that regard, you were successful.
Yeah, those are the standards.
In that regard,
you're successful.
Yeah, but you know, those are there's a because I wanted to give you another example. You could in a family where the highest level of transportation is a bicycle. Ukatenga motor raise a standard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true.
And
yeah,
to you, to some of us, motor is standard.
Yeah, yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yes,
you can't say motor is something. It just depends on the type of car, but you can't only motor.
Yeah, that's
you get what I'm saying? But for some people, standard you pane one way to akazotenga motor in the whole clan since whenever. You know what I'm saying? It becomes that standard then. So meaning at some point you have to declare to yourself inini okay pandiri panapa I want to get to this level. Kandashika pa level here I know okay a success. Then some people when they're driven by what people think of them.
That's mad.
No, seriously. What do you think we've got so many?
I guess to some extent.
Yeah, we do have that.
I think all of us.
It just now depends on your level.
Animals at the end of the day.
It just depends on the level you are going to. Okay. Am I going to? Yeah. Am I in my house? Yeah. Is Costa going to be the standard? Or is Tabi going to be the standard?
Yeah,
it's now up to you guys. You just have to be okay with it. You wear with the individual because at the end of the day,
how people see us.
We're in the business of
somehow
doing that. Yeah.
Yeah. Somewhere, somehow, I think we're all driven by how people see us. Whether you're a Michael Jordan who wants to win as many titles as possible and become a scoring champion, it's so that you can stand on that podium and look down at people say, I did it.
Wow.
And as much as he might sit with us right now and say, no, I did it all for myself. But there was somehow there was that whole, judgment from society that he was also fighting.
Yeah.
It's because, like, for example, like Ashley, you're my boy, and I think I tell you almost everything. And I remember this one time when, I was like ridiculously pissed off with you, and you were. I know where you were coming from, and you knowing me for years, and I was in the middle of telling you my life plan. I want to do this next year. I want to do this, I want to do this, and then you said, you know what, Tavi? I think you put so much pressure on yourself. For as long as I've known you, you've always had this thing of, I want to do this, I want to do that, and I've never seen you live life. I need you to just live life, relax, take it easy. And do you know why it touched a nerve? Because I did the same thing from Chris, and my wife says that a lot. You need to live a little. You put too much pressure on yourself. Relax. Nothing has to be perfect. And as much as I hear this all the time, and I've read about it all the time, at the same time, I've got a certain standard for myself that I feel I haven't achieved, and I'm a failure. And for the life of me, I cannot let
go.
You guys say that to me. Yeah, I just can't. You, my
I
best
get
friends,
it.
and you'll say that. My wife says that all the time. My dad says that all the time. My dad says he's proud of me, the way I am, where I am already. And he's happy for me. But when I sit with myself at night, I'm like, fuck it. This is BS. I deserve better. I'm like Da Vinci, damn it, and I haven't even scratched the surface.
Okay. No, you see, that's what I
So
was.
I think I'm a failure, like big time.
You see, that's the thing. Now, if your levels are what they are, and we can't normally, like I was saying before, Guti, am I going to live my life? Is my household going to be judged by Costa or Tavi standards?
But then, just bringing it back to failure, Tavi. What if what you're doing right now, and you're saying that, is failure, and only Tavi at 50 will be able to say, look, judge this period of your life and say, okay, Tavi between 20 and 30 was a success, even up to 30, 35, whatever. But this other overachiever, Tavi, failed because he had all these wonderful things around him that he didn't enjoy, because he had this goal in his mind to say, okay, I need to be exhibiting in wherever, Tokyo or all of these places. I need to be rubbing shoulders with so and so, and need to be DMing with. And 50-year-old is thinking, I mean, your priorities are more like, okay,
I need to DM Rihanna. You know what I mean?
your 50-year-old self or 55-year-old self looks back and says, look, because like we can miss wonderful opportunities to enjoy our lives, and and like when I think of Ashley and you're talking about your daughter, I'm thinking, so what are you going to do to with your business and your daughter? Are you going to let her be, or are you going to raise her up and guide her?
Yeah, if you see now, what we were trying to do with my wife is that she's been wonderful at doing this. She's got a way of bringing out what she wants to do in a way, because my daughter does various things. When you're trying to see but she draws, she sketches, she does
she paints.
She paints. But at the same time, she's very good at math. She's very good at public speaking. So all these things that are happening, animal possibilities. But at the same time, in your mind, you're thinking,
wow.
Don't be a designer, please. Don't be a designer.
Now she's got a 50,
what is it
50 to 60% chance.
I also don't want my daughter to be a designer.
I'm like, yo, please don't be a creative. It's BP mwanangu BP. No, it's
BP. Yeah.
For me, it's more to do with because like when we were growing up, we didn't have this thing where you had a choice of whether or not you want to not to say you had a choice, but to say kuti papa nema professions angari pokudara unzi doctor, ita doctor, ita accountant, ita
what's not that exposure career guidance.
That's true.
So and then I'm grateful that I have the one thing that I really that I do purposefully when it comes to my daughter is I teach her confidence. Regardless of ukadaita chika, kana one confidence, need self-belief. Whatever it is you're gonna do, it's gonna be fine. I think that's the main thing. I can teach you 1 + 1 = 2. Yes, it's a fact. But if she doesn't have the internal confidence to become whatever it is that she wants to be, that's when I've failed.
Then, so now my question is, because I feel like it's very important for us to then realize kuti apa I'm failing, because then at that moment is when you decide to continue failing or to change.
Exactly.
Yeah, because like sometimes, especially being men, my opportunity kuzora kahobo.
Maybe.
From being a husband, a father, an employee, there's so many opportunities.
Oh, love.
You know? So it's like, okay, one, how do you identify okay, apa ndazora? You know, and
I was gonna say the same thing.
There's two types of failure. There's one that you can do something about, and then there's one, like, I guess you can do something about all types of failure, but there's some things that the relationships I lost because of my immaturity, I can't get back. All I can do is apologize. But maybe I cost someone big time. My apology may never be able to reverse that. How do we identify kuti apa tukuzora?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Today I'm gonna try not to be philosophical.
You want to be practical.
Remember. Yeah. Remember what you mentioned earlier on, Costa, about how this measurement of success also differs. Like maybe like what I view as successful is also different from what somebody else sees as successful, or the society, like Ashley put it. Same with failure. So, like Ashley might think he failed, but maybe he didn't. The same way I see myself as a failure, but when someone else sees what I've achieved, they see, like, you know, or maybe when someone looks at Michael Jordan and says, Michael Jordan, wow, you're successful. For all you know, if you're to ask him, he'll be like, yeah, I don't think I'm successful because my first marriage was a failure.
I wasn't successful at baseball. He really tried there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, at baseball.
I get what you mean. So
you know,
identifying.
So it's
identifying is, you know what happens now?
Identifying that
do you know
is really...
Do you know how you do that? In a way. First and foremost, maybe you're trying to, let's say, like Tavi, you've got you're one of the people that I know who has clear intentions of their life, goals clear. I think you've managed to clarify that. I am still struggling with some of mine, and I've got a few life goals, but my individual kind of I struggle with that a little bit, and I'll be the first to admit. But you've got a yardstick in terms of what you're trying to do. Okay, let me put it.
You said he's got a yacht, and in my mind I'm like, what?
Yardstick. You got a yacht. Tabi, have you got a yacht?
I got that too. Huh?
Yeah. So I was saying to you. So
no,
you got
right now I don't have a yacht. I'm in a hotel room, but yeah.
so I'm saying to you say to by 40 by 50 I must have, this is a rudimentary example. I must have five people signed on my label by whatever, 5 major million hit successful artists on my label, whatever. But then you can now say, I'm 50 now, I've only done 3. So it's up to you now to decide whether or not you're a failure. Because now you're saying, I put this as my marker to say by 50 I'm doing this, and I haven't done it. That's your marker.
So I guess you have to, in conclusion, I guess you have to decide on the measurement stick.
Yes, you have to. You're the one who decides.
So the measurement stick is the one that gives us the judgment to say this is a success or this is a failure.
Yeah, the key thing is you, not everyone else.
But
I know what you're trying to say. the key thing is you. Like I was telling you, giving an example. In
There ain't no buts here,
Baskoro.
just titties.
Chinzwai, pane muri Baskoro. Motor is king. So meaning the standards will always shift.
Yes.
They will always shift because back then it used to be for some people like in our kind of circles. Tagunzi standard you to find getting E class. If it's someone else judging for you. But if it's you're saying, listen, I want a car that takes me from point A to B and it carries all my shit. That's all I want. What's that got to do? You're not the one driving.
And be content with that.
And be okay with it. That's the thing. Be okay with the standards you set for yourself because they're for you. Otherwise, depending on who you are. Now, there's another level to this now. Individual failures, and then there's company and organizational and government. No, I'm just saying. Standards are not service provision versus non-service provision. Even kind of China at the department store. One of these Panama standards. Those are the name and shame. My standards are ninga tatu. I think on a company because you set your goals and say this is who we are as a company and this is how we react
and that's clear
and it's clear, and if you fail you get called out for companies. That's it. But for your own individual you decide, because at the end of the day nobody's gonna live your life. You're gonna live your own life, and by the end of the day when they're at your funeral but book.
You know what? And the thing about it, I think Les Brown also says it when he says something about going to the grave with your dreams and when they're not supposed to go with you to the grave. And talking about the whole standards thing, you also have to be man enough or woman enough or mature enough to know what it means to aim for those standards. Whether you fail or hit them, because everything has got that whole cause and effect matrix BS. If I say I was watching this Kobe Bryant interview when he was talking about Mamba mentality and why he retired early, it's because one of his mentors told him that you've got to know that if I'm gonna be in the gym 5 hours a day, waking up at 3 a.m., something's got to give. The romance with my wife, school run with my kids, and all that stuff. So he sat down with his wife and said, I'm going to give 5 years of my life to this, whilst this is suffering. But after that, I've got to have to make up for it, because you cannot be a great father when you're spending 10 or 15 hours a day away from home. Just because you want to be the greatest photographer in the world. So you got to be mature enough to then suffer the consequences or live with the consequences of that so-called success or that so-called failure that you're gonna achieve.
Set your standards, but there must be something higher than yourself. Because that's the only way you can grow. You can't set low bar. Like, don't set the bar low. Try and set the bar as high as you can, because once you shoot up there, you can only get better with the struggle that you go through. It makes us better. And failure is what you say failure is to you. Once you set your standards.